Hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of our Career Video Library series with Nevada State College Career Services. My name is Zach Kaczynski. I'm the Coordinator of Employer Relations here in the center. I'm joined here today with Aurora from the Great Basin Institute, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about some of the opportunities they have for students. So let me go ahead and have her introduce herself, and we'll jump right into it.
Hi everyone, my name is Aurora Pinkey-Drobnis. I am the Director of Operations for our Conservation Corps program.
Awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about Great Basin Institute and the mission of the organization?
Sure. So the Great Basin Institute is a field studies organization. We focus on environmental outdoor education, research, and conservation throughout the West. We focus our work primarily in the state of Nevada, but we do work in quite a few of the Western states, including Oregon, Washington, California, Arizona, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. And the Nevada Conservation Corps is just one program within our organization. We also have an AmeriCorps single placement program, our research associate program, an environmental education program, as well as our assessment, inventory, and monitoring. And, you know, our goal is really to provide students and young professionals opportunities to make meaningful contributions towards protecting and conserving natural resources within the state of Nevada and throughout the West. And then our secondary goal is for folks who work with us to gain valuable work experience in natural resource management.
Awesome, great. So how did you come to work at Great Basin Institute? And can you talk briefly about the path that you took to get to your current position?
Yeah, it was certainly not a straight path, I would say. I started out, I grew up on the East Coast, and I grew up in Rhode Island. I went to college in upstate New York, and I studied geology. And my first position right out of college was an AmeriCorps position working with the National Park Service at Mount Rainier National Park. And it was a really amazing opportunity. It really opened my eyes to kind of all of the different aspects of conservation, land management, federal land management agencies, and kind of all the different paths there were within the National Park Service, as well as other agencies like the U.S. Forest Service, Fish and Wildlife, things like that. And I was there doing interpretation. I was giving glacier talks. I was helping the natural resource staff do glacier surveys. It was a really, really cool internship for the summer. And I also got the opportunity to spend weekends volunteering with some of the other programs. And I ended up working a couple of weekends with the trail crew and got kind of hooked on building trails and recreation as a career path. So I ended up bouncing around a lot. I worked down in Southern California for the Bureau of Land Management, doing wilderness management. I worked for several other nonprofit agencies. I spent a summer working in Yellowstone, and then ended up managing an internship program with the U.S. Forest Service out of central Idaho for a couple of years. I took a brief hiatus from Conservation Corps and land management work. I did go back to graduate school. I studied nonprofit management and education, and did a little bit of time as a middle school science teacher, and really just missed kind of the nonprofit world. So this was kind of my position after teaching. I was like, all right, I'm ready to go back into conservation and to be in kind of more of a management administrative role. So that is how I got to where I am now.
Awesome. See, I love asking that question because everybody has the same first initial answer, which is it wasn't a straight line, you know, and that you had to sort of bounce around. And I think that's how it is for everybody. And I think it's important for students to know, you know, if you don't have a particular plan yet, or if you don't know exactly what you want to do, it may find you.
Yeah, I really thought I was going to be a geologist, I guess, when I first graduated college. So interestingly enough, I'm a program administrator and manager for a nonprofit, but
you never know. All right, so can you tell us a little bit about the Nevada Conservation Corps?
Sure. So the Nevada Conservation Corps, like I said, is just one program within Great Basin Institute, and we really focus on implementation of conservation projects. The demographic that we generally serve are folks who are between 18 and 26. However, we do not have an age limit on our program. So anyone who is eligible and would like to participate certainly can, but that's kind of like the majority of the folks who come and work at the Nevada Conservation Corps. And our work is split up between 3 different scopes of work. So we focus on forestry, trails and recreation, and restoration. And forestry is centered a lot around wildfire lately, but also can include habitat restoration, sustainable forestry, some invasive species work, and then, trails and recreation is really focused on helping the public get out and enjoy the public land that we have and the spaces that there are to enjoy in the wilderness and in nature. And then the restoration program is focused on habitat restoration projects, which can include anything from seed collection to native species planting. We do erosion control projects. We certainly do a lot of invasive species management work as well.
Awesome. So what sort of opportunities are available for students in the Nevada Conservation Corps?
So we offer, because we have 2 offices, one in Las Vegas and one in Reno, we offer positions 12 months a year. So our seasons are really split up into 4 3-month chunks. And so at any point during the year, someone can kind of look onto our website, and we always have open positions for individuals interested in participating. And you can choose your length of service. We offer 3, 6, and 9-month terms of service because we're split into those 3 chunks. So you can choose to just do a short period of time. So we have one that fits right into the summertime. We've got one that starts in the fall. We have a season that runs through the wintertime down in our Las Vegas office. And then we've got spring seasons both in Reno and in Las Vegas. And we offer crew member opportunities on all those different types of crews, so forestry, trails and recreation, or restoration. And then there are also opportunities to do things like our leadership development program, which is really aimed at developing leadership skills and technical skills so that you can then become a crew leader with us or with another organization or another part of our organization. And so those are kind of the main things that we offer at Nevada Conservation Corps, but we do see a lot of folks who come into our program as crew members and kind of work their way up, do our leadership development programs, spend a season working as a crew lead, and then go on to do all different kinds of things within GBI and beyond, as well as some of them have even joined our staff. So there are lots of opportunities to kind of move up in our organization and with the Nevada Conservation Corps as well.
Okay, great. So the next one, you may have touched on it a little bit, but maybe you can go into more detail. So what are the benefits of volunteering with the Nevada Conservation Corps?
Yeah, so I mean, there are kind of some bullet points that I always like to go over that are training opportunities that are specifically put into our program. And those I will say first, and then I'll kind of talk about my personal experience, what I think is also, a valuable benefit of volunteering with NCC. So I think everyone who participates in our program has an opportunity to get a certification in first aid and CPR. We offer trainings in leave no trace, outdoor ethics, as well as off-road driver training. We offer GIS ArcMap training and other mapping programs. And then, you get an opportunity to work outdoors and visit some of the most beautiful remote locations, an opportunity to advance through our program and potentially go on to lead one of our crews or take on more of a leadership role. And then, valuable skills associated with teamwork, work ethic, professionalism. We really kind of focus on that career path aspect of our program. So looking at, hey, what do you want to do next and what can we do to get you there? One of the biggest things that I think is a benefit from participating in our program is you get to work with agency partners from around the state and also in California, and making those connections with folks from the U.S. Forest Service, maybe from the State Department of Recreation, the National Park Service. We work with U.S. Fish and Wildlife. We work with Nevada State Parks. And if you take advantage of all of the people that you interact with and work with throughout a season, you really have a network of individuals that you end up, even after a 3-month season, maybe you have 5 people who have given you their email address, who you've met in person, who know your name. And then those really often turn into career opportunities for people. So to me, that is kind of like the biggest goal and mission, and also the biggest benefit of participating in our program. If you are interested in conservation careers or anything related to land management, it's certainly a big piece of it. And then I think the other thing that I would say is just the connections you make with the people you work with. When you spend a season working with the Nevada Conservation Corps, you often spend up to 8 days in a row working in the field and camping. And so when you do that, like, the people you work with become, in lots of ways, like a little family. You get to know people on a deeper level, and then those connections you will have potentially for the rest of your life. I have individuals that I worked with when I was 21 who I am still in touch with, and who I constantly am, maybe they're still in conservation and maybe they're not, but I continually network with them. I always run into people. It ends up being, it's a pretty small world. You find when you spend a couple of years working in this field, and it takes a while, but after that, you feel like you have connections in lots of different places, and having not only those friendships, but also building those career connections that you never know what will lead to a job or to a career in the future. So I think, to me, that is definitely the biggest benefit, and just really getting to work outside and see some of the most beautiful places in the area in the state of Nevada, to get to go to remote mountain ranges that maybe nobody has, maybe you've never even knew existed, that might not be too far away from your back door. So there are so many really incredible places in this state and close by that are just waiting to be explored. And I love when people come back from a spot they've never heard of and they're like, it was so cool. I didn't even know it existed. I can't wait to go back and take my friends camping there, or whatever it may be. So there are lots of benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to touch on, that networking piece. That's something we preach a lot in career services. That's such an important element. Students don't realize how important it is to make connections with people who are professionals, and even your classmates or coworkers are people who in the future can help you get somewhere, or that you can work together with to do great things. So that's a huge piece of it for sure.
Absolutely.
So
it's definitely gotten to the point for me where, people who I worked with who were my coworkers at a certain time are now folks who are in a position where they could help me get a job, or other folks that are coming through our program that I can continue to connect them with too. So
absolutely. So the question I like to ask everybody, which is, what is a piece of career or life advice that you wish someone had given you when you were a student?
I thought about this one a little bit. I was trying to figure it out. I think I came up with 2. So the first one that I thought of is that there's no connection too small to act on, I guess. Like, even if you think you only met somebody for 15 minutes, the sooner you contact them and let them know, like, hey, it was really great meeting you, hoping to work with you in the future, even if there's no opportunities available at the current moment, there's no connection too small to not take advantage of. If you follow up with people, they will remember you. So I think that is kind of it's the networking piece again. But I wish someone had told me that, because there were so many times when I met folks and really wish that I had gotten their email address or gotten their phone number, gotten their contact information, even if I just met them for a couple of minutes in the field. And then also that those in-person interactions, rare in these days of COVID-19, are really valuable, and people do remember them, and they remember who you are and what you did. So that, and then the other piece that I wish someone had told me when I was kind of just starting out my career was I think I cast a really broad net a lot of times because I wasn't confident in that I would get a job. I didn't know what I was really looking for, and so I would apply to, like, 20 positions, and I always felt a little bit overwhelmed by if I got more than one offer. So I wish someone had told me to focus in, to choose a few that I really wanted, and to focus in on, okay, I'm going to focus on getting these positions and what it takes to follow up with the people who interviewed me, to ask questions, and then, yes, sure, cast a wide net outside of that as well, but have a couple things in mind and be a little bit more directed and kind of what, and the other thing, I guess, is another piece about, that I just thought of. Another piece about networking is asking people how they got to where they are now, because you will find that there's lots of different paths, but there may be something in there that you're like, and the reason I have this job is because I did this experience, or the reason that I got to where I am is because of this piece. And that always helps me in really understanding, okay, so if I want your job, this is what I need to do to get there.
Absolutely. That's all great advice that I haven't heard before on here yet. That's awesome. Yeah, what was the second one you said? I had a thing I was going to say and I forgot it.
Well, I mean, I think it's good. Like, people often say, cast a wide net, apply to lots of jobs, but I think identifying the ones that most align with your goals and having those in mind to start with, and really focusing in on what it is that are the qualifications that they want, and following up with those people who are doing the hiring process, I think. And as someone who's now does a lot of hiring, I certainly keep in mind the folks who contacted me before the interview process and contacted me afterwards to thank me. Like that, it may seem simple and small, but I know that they're interested in the position.
Yeah, that was the thing I was going to say is sometimes we have to cast a little bit of a wide net, but you make a really good point that you want to do the extra work with those ones that you really care about, and to make sure that they don't know that you're casting a wide net, and not letting on that you're applying to just anything and everything, and you want to really be applying to things that you really want, because they can feel that enthusiasm. And when you're hiring people and you see a cover letter that's very general and you can tell they're sending this out to everybody, yeah, that can sometimes hurt you. So that's a great piece of advice. So if students have additional questions and they want to reach out to you, how can they do that?
Yeah, so I can provide my email address if that would be helpful, but additionally, our website is a really great resource, and there is contact information on our website for all of our staff for our different programs as well. So that's a good resource of places to look if you're not just interested in the Nevada Conservation Corps, but you may also be interested in our AmeriCorps Single Placement Program, or potentially moving on to some of our other programs. We also hire a lot of seasonal folks to work in our environmental education programs as well. We run summer camps out of 2 visitor centers in Tahoe, so that's a pretty fun opportunity.
Awesome. Yeah, so I'll make sure that I have your contact info listed underneath the video, and a link to the website and everything like that. Please feel free to reach out. They want to hear from you. They'd love to answer your questions. Any of the employers that I'm talking to here, that they would love to hear from you. So please reach out. So thank you so much, Aurora, for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you, students, for stopping by and giving us a few minutes of your time to learn about these opportunities. If you want additional advice, additional guidance, please make an appointment with Career Services at calendly.com/NSC Career. We're here to help you with any questions, anything you need assistance with your, you're planning for your career and finding a job. So Yeah, so thank you so much, Aurora, and have a great day. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I hope to hear from all of you.
Take care.